Welcome to Glasgow Go-Getters YouTube channel. My name is Kit. In this video, I would like to talk to you about parenting during the lockdown and online learning or homeschooling, whatever you want to call it, especially for teenagers. I have a teenage son who's 15. He is in 4th year of high school, which means in Scotland that he is due to sit his, I think it's called Nat 5s now, and in my days it was called O grades. So he's due to sit his exams. However, due to COVID, restrictions are in place, so therefore the school has implemented a system where the teachers will assess 4th year pupils' grades throughout 3rd and 4th year, I believe. I can't remember the exact details because I have been bombarded with email after email from school practically every day since this whole homeschooling, online learning has started. So I want to speak to you about how do you parent your teenager during this current pandemic, during this yet another lockdown. I have been a single parent since 2008, between 2008 and 2014. So I find it easier to approach my youngest son, Calvin, to ask him how he's getting on at school because he doesn't have his dad to take care and parent him because they no longer keep in touch. His dad's not in his life at all. So I find that easier because Calvin has only me to come to when he needs something from me, his mum. He can also approach his papa, my Aussie husband. However, he lives in Australia, so it's due to the big time difference, it's difficult for him to approach and get in touch with his papa to get advice or help. So I am the main parent, the main caregiver. So last week, Calvin attended school for just one lesson. It was a practical lesson that he needed to go into school for. It was on a Tuesday. It was just before lunch. So he had to come straight home and get lunch, then log on to his either his iPad that was supplied by the school or his desktop. Now this meant he had only 10 minutes to wolf down his lunch. And it was during this conversation that I had with him, he had with me, and he approached me and asked me, "Mum, this is my situation. I have to go to school for one lesson, a practical lesson, then I have to come straight back home, grab lunch, and then log on for my lessons online. I only have 10 minutes to eat lunch." So that he presented a situation and a problem for me to help him solve. He asked me, could you make lunch for me so that I can come back home and eat it straight away, then log on to my home learning? Now, I was wondering as I was preparing this meal and thoughts came into my head. I was thinking, what if Calvin did not tell me his situation and problem? What if I was a key worker and I wasn't home when he needed me to help him solve this problem? And then all these other thoughts came through in my mind. What if Calvin struggled on his own, no one at home to help him solve this problem? Then I thought, oh my goodness, in the worst case scenario, Calvin might have, because Calvin being Calvin, he is a very shy lad. He wouldn't approach anyone for help other than people in his immediate family because he's such a shy lad. I thought, wow, if that's the kind of thoughts I got from this situation and problem, maybe other teenagers are presented with the same or similar situation and problem now that they are gradually being introduced going back to school. So I thought, well, I would like to make a video about this. So as a parent, How do you get your teenager to open up to you with their situation and problem so that you can help them resolve it and teach them how to solve problems? So my suggestions are: one, you must build trust with your teenager. They must be able to trust you in order to open up to you. How do I build trust with my youngest son, Calvin? As I said earlier in this video, Calvin comes to me for his needs because I am his main caretaker. However, if there was no trust, oh, hang on, I'm feeling the cold. I'm going to put my fleece on. If there was no trust between Calvin and myself, he would not be comfortable opening up to me with his situation and problem. How do we build trust with our teenager? One of the things I do with Calvin in order to build trust and nurture a relationship is to check in on him on a daily basis now that he's learning online at home. I'll ask him, how are you getting on with your online learning? What struggles are you facing? What problems do you have? Do you need help with anything? I'm speaking from the heart. I care about him and I tell him I care about you. And that comes across because I'm speaking from the heart. We have conversations each day, mainly during dinner time. And I will check in on him every day, ask him questions, because questions are the answers. Sometimes it takes for Calvin to be engaged in an activity in order for him to, oh, I need to ask mum, or I would like to have a conversation with mum while I am engaged with my own activity. Sometimes it's difficult to leave my own activity, put it down, and give my full attention to Calvin. So what I do is I will tell him, for instance, I was on the phone last week to my friend Pip, and Calvin knocked on my bedroom door demanding my immediate attention. It wasn't anything urgent, so I told Calvin, I'm on the phone with my friend, I'll speak to you after I come off the phone. However, if it was urgent, he would tell me. I would ask him, is this urgent? And he would tell me. If it was urgent, I would hang up the phone with my friend Pip and attend to Calvin's immediate whatever it is he wants to share with me. So if it wasn't urgent, I would speak to Calvin after I've come off the phone with my friend. Another way that I like to connect with Calvin is during activities at home. However, now that he's a teenager, we rarely do anything together because we're not getting outdoors as much due to this current lockdown. So, how do I connect with Calvin? The only thing that connects us with an activity is something that Calvin enjoys doing, not what I enjoy doing, because it's not about me. This is about my youngest son, Calvin. Whatever he enjoys, I will show some interest. I will ask him questions. Or what online games are you playing recently? What's your interest? And what have you learned lately watching YouTube videos, which is something that Calvin has been passionate about since I think it was when he was learning about the Titanic at primary school. He looked up Titanic on YouTube videos and he learned a lot about the Titanic. He could probably tell me everything that he has learned through watching these YouTube videos about Titanic. So ever since, he's been telling me, Mum, did you know that you could learn from watching YouTube videos? So that is a great link where I could use to connect with Calvin. YouTube videos. And I love using that example to ask him, what have you learned from watching YouTube videos recently? Last week, my laptop had been corrupted due to my own fault of not taking care of it, not switching it off properly, or when it was doing its updates, the battery went dead and I hadn't noticed it and plugged it into charge. Or it could have been, there was another issue, it could have been a very common one. Oh, when I'm using the laptop and it runs out of charge and I haven't plugged it in to charge. So these were the main reasons why my laptop had corrupted. So I couldn't use it. Took it to a technician who fixed it for me, brought it back, and I asked Calvin to help me reinstall everything that was lost. And he asked me, do you want Windows 10 downloaded on your laptop? What's Windows 10? And I'm not that clued up with technology. So that got us talking, got us engaging, and got us some quality bonding time. Then he asked me about what happened to my laptop, how did it get corrupted, don't you think it's time to upgrade and get a new laptop? So we had a conversation going because it was something that he was good at and is interested in. So find some common ground with your teen in order to connect with them. I also suggest that you check in on them on a daily basis because they might not be comfortable opening up to you with their situation and problem. If you are a key worker, it might be difficult for you to speak to your teenager when they are free and when you are free. So I suggest that you could set up a time where you can text your teen and ask them how they're getting on and encourage them to text you and communicate with you through texting. Or you could also leave voice messages with your teenager so that you can communicate through voice messages instead of texting. I find voice messages are more effective way of communicating because you have the 7% of verbal and the 38% of voice communication, whereas with a text it's only 7% of the communication because it's only 7% of words, so the message could be misunderstood. So that's my advice and suggestion on how to parent your teenager during this current lockdown, homeschooling or online learning, whatever you want to call it. Our teenagers are vulnerable at this age because they are going through the hormonal changes. Maybe they're sitting exams, maybe they're going through something major in their life that they need support and guidance with. So it's important that you check in on your teenager on a daily basis, ask questions, find a common ground, connect, bond, and get to know what they are doing as much as you possibly can. And I find it very empowering to get Calvin to open up to me so that I know what his situation and problems are. I praise him for coming to me and asking for help because it takes a lot of courage to come to you as a teenager and ask for help, especially when we are going through so many changes, so many uncertainties. And I personally think that being a teenager during this pandemic is even more challenging than sitting exams, and it's all overwhelming for Calvin because he told me last week when I was checking in on him that he feels that his privacy has been evaded. He feels overwhelmed by all this homeschool learning, the pandemic, the lockdown. They just can't seem to see an end to it all because he told me he's sleeping in his bedroom, he's eating in his bedroom, he's at school in his bedroom, he's doing so much in his bedroom where he feels that it's no longer his private space to rest and get on his online gaming with his friends and his brothers. So it was great that he shared this piece of information with me and we got chatting about, oh, how's that for you? How do you feel about that? What would you like to do with this latest challenge of feeling that your personal space has been evaded. Just acknowledging what he shared with me was important. Yeah, I acknowledged what he shared with me by giving him the space to open up to me. Yeah, yeah, I learnt this recently from reading a parenting book. I think it was called How to Talk to Children So That They Will Listen, and Listen So That Children Will Talk to You. Yes, that's it. So in order to get your child to open up to you, your teen to open up to you, you must acknowledge what they are sharing with you, even though you may not agree with them. That's okay. You must acknowledge what they are sharing with you, because what they are sharing with you matters to them, it's valid for them, and it's important to them. So therefore, when you validate what they share with you, they feel valued, important, and loved. That is when you build trust with your child or teenager. I hope you got something from this video. If you have any comments that you would like to leave, please type it into the comment section, or you can send me a message if you would like to speak about this topic. Please subscribe and like. Until the next video, do take care and stay safe. It's bye from Kit.